In the gentle embrace of a garden, where the flowers whispered secrets to the breeze and the leaves rustled in a dance of serenity, a philosopher approached the Buddha. This philosopher was not just a man of thought but a true seeker, one whose heart yearned for the depths of truth beyond the realm of ordinary understanding. The Buddha, seated in his usual place of calm, looked upon the philosopher with eyes that held the stillness of the ocean. The air was filled with a sense of expectancy, as if the very trees and stones were leaning in to hear. "O enlightened one," the philosopher began, his voice carrying a mixture of respect and earnest inquiry. "Without words, without silence, will you tell me the truth?" His question hung in the air, a riddle wrapped in the enigma of existence. The Buddha responded not with words, but with silence. It was not an empty silence, but one rich with unspoken understanding, a canvas upon which the philosopher could paint the colors of his own insights. The philosopher stood there, in the presence of the Buddha, as moments slipped into eternity. In the Buddha's silence, he found the answers he had been seeking. It was as if the layers of his thoughts, doubts, and delusions were peeling away, revealing the luminous essence of truth that lay beneath. With a heart overflowing with gratitude, the philosopher bowed deeply. "I have now cleared away my delusions and entered the true path," he declared, his voice a soft echo of his inner transformation. The realization had dawned upon him, not through words, but through the profound language of silence. As the philosopher walked away, a new light in his eyes, Ananda, the Buddha's close attendant, watched the scene with a mix of curiosity and awe. Once the philosopher had departed, Ananda turned to the Buddha, his face a canvas of questions. "O teacher," Ananda asked with the innocence of a child and the sincerity of a disciple, "what has that philosopher attained? What did he understand in your silence?" The Buddha looked at Ananda, a gentle smile playing on his lips. "A good horse runs even at the shadow of the whip," he commented. This enigmatic response was much like the silence he had offered the philosopher, deep, profound, and open to interpretation. Ananda pondered over these words. He knew the Buddha's teachings were often like a riddle, a koan that unlocked the doors of deeper understanding. "Does it mean," Ananda asked tentatively, "that the philosopher was quick to understand, needing only a hint to grasp the truth?" The Buddha nodded, his eyes reflecting wisdom as ancient as the stars. Just as a well-trained horse needs but the slightest hint to follow its master's command, a keen mind needs only the subtlest indication to grasp the profound truths. The philosopher, in his earnest seeking, found his answer in the unspoken, in the quietude that speaks louder than words. Ananda, absorbing this, sat down beside the Buddha, looking out at the tranquil garden. So, the truth he sought was always within him? He queried, seeking to unravel the layers of this lesson. "Indeed," the Buddha replied. "Often, what we seek is not to be given but to be discovered within." The silence was not empty, it was full of the truth he needed to realize by himself. It was a mirror reflecting his own inner wisdom. Ananda, who had been with the Buddha for many years and had witnessed numerous teachings and interactions, reflected on this. "Teacher, is this why you sometimes answer questions with silence or with a question of your own?" The Buddha's eyes twinkled with the light of understanding. "Words can be like a boat that helps one cross the river. But once the river is crossed, the boat is no longer needed. One must walk the path of enlightenment on one's own feet." The conversation drifted into a comfortable silence, both master and disciple lost in their thoughts. Ananda thought about the numerous seekers who came to the Buddha, each leaving with something, sometimes a word, sometimes a silence, always a lesson. As the sun began to set, casting a warm, golden glow over the garden, Ananda realized that the Buddha's teachings were like the sun itself, illuminating, warming, and guiding, yet allowing each flower in the garden to bloom in its own time and way. The story of the philosopher's visit would remain with Ananda, a testament to the myriad ways in which the Buddha imparted wisdom. It was a reminder that enlightenment was a personal journey, unique to each seeker. The philosopher had come with a question and left with an understanding that transcended words, an understanding born from the profound silence of the Buddha. In the days that followed, Ananda often found himself reflecting on the Buddha's analogy of the good horse. It was a lesson not just about the readiness to understand but also about the subtlety and depth of true wisdom. It was about how sometimes, the gentlest nudge of guidance could awaken the deepest truths within a receptive soul. The garden, with its rustling leaves and gentle breezes, continued to be a sanctuary of peace and learning. Disciples and seekers came and went, each on their own path of discovery, each finding in the Buddha's teachings a light that illuminated their way. The Buddha, a beacon of enlightenment, remained the unwavering center of this ever-evolving tapestry of learning. His teachings, sometimes in words and sometimes in silence, continued to guide, challenge, and enlighten those who came to him with open hearts and minds. As the moon rose, casting a silvery light over the tranquil garden, the Buddha and Ananda sat in contemplation. The night air was filled with the scent of jasmine, and the stars shone with the ancient light of 1,000 truths. In this sacred space, where each leaf and stone seemed imbued with wisdom, the story of the philosopher and the lesson of the good horse would echo through time, a timeless reminder of the power of silence and the profound depths of understanding that it could reveal. And in the hearts of those who were ready to listen, the unspoken truths of the universe continued to unfold, like the endless petals of a lotus blooming in the serene waters of enlightenment.